Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
This episode's brought to you by Video Blocks.
It's true.
What the hell is Video Blocks?
Video Blocks is one of the most awesome stock footage sites of all time. I'm a huge fan of it. Have been for a very long time. We use stuff for Kind of Funny Live 1 and Kind of Funny Live 2.
Yeah.
They got stock footage. They got graphics stuff that you can do. They got audio. Pretty much everything you'd ever need if you're a video editor. And a lot of the people out there are. And if you're not, you should try. It's a lot of fun.
So what Video Blocks is offering right now is an affordable subscription-based stock media site that you can get unlimited access to all sorts of stuff. They have unlimited daily downloads from a library of more than 115,000 video clips, After Effects templates, motion backgrounds, and more. This is great for if you're going to stream, if you're making YouTube videos like us, if you're doing a crazy live event like Tim does. So ladies and gentlemen, Video Blocks is offering our fans a year subscription for only $99. This is a $50 discount off the usual price tag for our listeners / best friends only. That's less than $10 a month. I don't know what's happening. Get your yearly subscription today for only $99 at videoblocks.com/Greggy. That's Videoblocks, videoblocks.com/Greggy for this discounted offer.
He's blocking the Greggy. No, he's not.
No, I didn't. Why didn't you tell me that's what you're doing?
Nailed it.
Bwah, 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 bwah. Tim,
Yes.
what's your topic?
I want to talk about gratuitous violence on TV.
Finally, so
Never happens.
Now, the framing around this, obviously, is last week's, at the time of recording, Walking Dead Season 7 premiere.
Okay.
Now, I'm assuming you have not seen this, Colin. I'm assuming you two have seen
Of course.
this. Cool.
Do we for viewers though?
for
What are we doing
viewers
for
and
spoiler
listeners,
stuff here?
Spoilers will probably be discussed in
Yeah.
this. So if you're trying to wait and not be spoiled by Walking Dead, don't watch this topic. I don't think there's any way to really kind of go about this without spoiling things to some extent that people are going to be angry with. So
Good call. Just making
let's
sure.
just go. Let's go from there.
You've
so,
been warned.
Now, having said that, about to get into spoilers now, there was some very, very, very gruesome deaths in this that were accurate to the source material. People are very upset on the internet and abroad about this show and where it's at and what it means for humanity, that this is entertainment to us. And a lot of people are angry that the show has devolved into just torture porn, essentially. So I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on that as it relates to this show, but also where is that line drawn besides on Carl's arm?
Oh, bada bing, bada boom. In terms of the show, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like I don't like it was very interesting to see that reaction. People are like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch anymore. And all right, good riddance. See you later. Like this is the Walking Dead that I've been reading for years and years and years and years. And I'm not trying to take that high ground of like this, but it's like I'm not gonna be offended if like the fair weather fans pull away and this is going into a dark place I wasn't ready for it to go to, which is weird to say because they've been. I mean, fucking Herschel's head got cut off with a katana in front of every. I mean, it's not like this is like so outrageous.
The old man?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. It was supposed to be Tyrese.
He only had like one leg
but
though.
Don't
so
worry about it. Yeah, by that point he didn't.
Whatever.
Yeah, it
An
was
old man with one leg. What the fuck are you gonna do with him?
exactly. He was gonna
Cut
go
his
down
head off.
eventually anyway. He had to be cut. That was so. My thing was like I had the opposite reaction of like, holy shit, they went there, because that was my big thing of how are they gonna do this, right? And remember how the season finale ends and the blood rolls on the screen. You and me being like, oh, are they even gonna show anybody getting hit? And they said in between that time in this premiere that yes, you're gonna see people get hit. This is a real thing. So when Abraham goes down or whatever, gets bashed, I was like, damn, that was gruesome. And then when he fucking did it to Glenn, it was so, I literally went, wow, that was so well done. Not the eye popping out, the actual visual, that's a visual from the comic, but the fact that like I was watching with a group, which I never get to do, of course, but I was in Missouri, so I was watching it with my friend Kyle and his wife who are huge fans, and then Jen, who's a fan. And so like there was that like for me that, and they did it so perfectly of like Abraham gets killed and I was like fuck, I'm like oh my, and the wheels started turning immediately like this is gonna be such an interesting deviation from the comic and what happens with Glenn and Maggie and the kid now that he's gonna still be here and how does blah, blah, blah. And then yeah, like 2.5 minutes later, right, that's like no fanfare, no nothing. He's like, well, I fucking bah, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
And then it's frame for frame.
And I gasped and I'm like, this is brilliant. And then like, yeah, they went down and his fucking eyes bulging out of his head. Negan talks about it the way he did in the comic, and then they fucking kill, and it was just like, damn, so well done, I thought. And like in that room, right, of fans who have most had read the comic, like 50% of us had read the comics. We were like, fuck, that was so well done. That was really awesome. I'm glad they did that. And then to step back and look at Facebook and see people all bent out of shape by it, I was like, huh, what did you think? Where did you think we were going? What did you think this was?
Well, I think a big piece of the criticism is that it became less about telling a story and more about playing with viewers' emotions and reactions.
Yeah.
And it's less about storytelling and then more about the fake outs. That's the entire thing. And that started back with the cliffhanger last season,
Sure.
which people were super upset about. Now, the thing to keep in mind, this episode ratings through the fucking roof.
Yeah, of course.
So it worked for them, right?
Right.
And will people actually leave? And the bigger question is, are the people that are upset actual viewers of the show, or are they the people that have
Fair weather people, yeah.
Yeah, they're just here because this is a kind of tentpole event episode.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that with Walking Dead, it's something that in the last couple seasons is moving really fast. And when you look at I read the comic, I'm totally caught up. They took a long time to get through the first couple arcs, but then once we hit about season 4, we're hitting like 30 issues of the comic a season when there's only 160 issues. So like you're moving through stuff pretty fast. This entire episode was 4 pages of the comics. That's it.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. And the whole thing was built up to fuck with you as a viewer.
And I'm fine with that. That was the whole thing. People are like, it's torture porn. The story didn't move. Da da da. I'm like, well, no. This was first off. You're looking at this as one episode not having story, when in reality this is a tentpole event for this timeline we're on, right? Because when I think back to reading issue 100 on a plane, tearing up, watching Glenn get killed, it was very much like, I remember where I was in that moment with that death of what's happened. You know what I mean? Like, I remember getting ready to fly to LA. Same thing I imagine looking back in years from now when this show finally ends. And I'm going to be like, I remember when we came back, and I'll probably forget that it was season 7 or whatever, but I'll remember those deaths. I'll remember that thing because it's not that one episode. I want to say issue. Sorry. It's not that one episode being cheap or cashing in on my emotions. They're cashing in on they're actually cashing out the chips they've invested from episode 1 of me liking Steven's Glenn so much, right? And seeing how that's gone and progressed and become a thing on its own. And even Abraham, right? Like it doesn't matter how that one episode played out, in my opinion, because it's the memories I have of those characters over years, right? Of getting to this point that their deaths matter.
My thing is, I can understand people's criticism of it because this is taking it really to an extreme that I've never actually seen on a station like that before.
I mean, Carl got shot in the head, and they did that frame for frame too of him looking dead.
You have to make there's a difference between like it really isn't all in the setup, right? And that's where I kind of again, I think the episode's fine, and I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it, but I can understand why people might have been shocked by this because oftentimes the sort of tragic or shocking things that happen are so well set up and that tension's so well built that it feels like in some weird, strange, fucked up way, it's almost gratifying. And then in this, like if that had happened at the very end of the last episode, I think everyone would have been like, holy fuck, that was crazy, but no one would have cared. It's the fact that we start with it, right? And that the entire episode is just about that. And that's all there is in this episode that people can focus on, that you sort of miss the emotional build up to that point, right? Because we've had such a big gap in between the season finale and the season and the return. What are you in season 5 now?
7.
Season 7, Jesus. So I can understand that. To me, I thought it was a really cool choice in that they kind of put Abraham out there as a red herring first, and then I guess it kind of works.
He's a redhead.
Yeah, he is redhead. Not by not naturally though.
Just in the show,
Supposedly.
the actor.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's blonde hair. I read an article about how all of them had to like keep their haircuts.
Oh yeah,
and like the stuff just so people wouldn't freak out and think that he shaved his beard so he's not back on
exactly.
it. Mustache is not on it. That's actually not my criticism of the episode. My criticism with the episode is I don't think that it hit very much in a show manner, but not in an emotional manner to me. And I think that actually is because of Negan. I actually didn't. It's not that he was a bad performance. It's just that I don't think I'm at a point emotionally invested in that character that he can carry that episode.
Oh, wow.
If that makes sense.
It might be because I'm bringing in baggage of being such a comic fan.
Yeah, see, to me, he's brand new.
Yeah.
And Rick, I think, outshined him, especially Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah.
Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln, I just think was so much more in the zone in that episode than Negan that I just feel like he didn't pull it off that well. And so for me, the violence kind of came out of fucking nowhere because it wasn't like I was watching a character that really had me invested as this like Hannibal Lecter like psychopath that at no point do you really want to fuck with this guy. Like I still think like, okay, that sucks, but I would have walked away and been like, I'm fucking killing this guy still. You know, I just didn't feel like I don't feel like he nailed it.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
What did you think? I thought it was fucking amazing.
I feel like it was fucking amazing. I feel like he totally nailed it, and I feel like it definitely gave him an extra oomph over all the other villains in the show. Like, already,
God.
like just this episode, it's like I do feel like it warranted he fucked with Rick. It wasn't like just the deaths; it was like all the other stuff in the episode that got it there.
I mean, that was my thing of like.
I guess I just didn't like it. It left a really bad taste in my mouth afterward. I mean, granted, I'm going to keep watching the show, but for something to me was just off about the episode, and I again thoroughly enjoyed it, but it just didn't sit with me. It wasn't like when I'm trying to think of an analog with the governor where. Like when he got the better of them, right? Or like that episode where they're surrounded the prison, and you know that all shit's gonna, and like that moment where everything was gonna be okay, and now it's not gonna be okay ever again. It just didn't feel that way to me. It felt very generic.
That was my thing of. Right, that episode in Negan's, and it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? His portrayal of Negan for me succeeds on so many fronts because, number one, in the comic, I love Negan, don't get me wrong, but comics are comics, so it's gonna be goofy, and he's always played so goofy with the fucks this and the fuck that and the fuck, you know what I mean? Which is funny to read, and that he is psychotic and he goes and kills people. But when they were introducing him, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be interesting how they do that. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's one is already so much more grounded and so much more sinister and so much scarier. And like my thing is he's a real threat for the group. And that episode, of him taking off and driving him off and throwing down the hatchet and turning around with the gun and like having Rick at every corner when that wouldn't happen with anybody else. And I always thought the governor, who in the comic is such a short portion too, in terms of just, he is a psychopath, this little wiry guy. And then the governor they introduced, I don't remember the actor's name anymore. I enjoyed his progression, but at no point did I feel like that governor was a villain and he was on par with what I had read from the comics and where he was going. And they pulled punches with his storyline so much.
I feel like I agree with you. I feel like his character was better and it was way more developed in the show.
Yeah.
But he was never as sinister or scary at all.
And that was the thing of like when I'm watching that episode and when I've been reflecting on it afterwards, the fact of like especially after the whole Carl thing and Rick's like blah blah, like I believed the group's fear and being surrounded by everybody else. I did believe in because in the comics I was like, why don't you just kill Negan? And then like the rest of his people fall in line. There's just a bunch of pussies. But like Stephen Ogg, holy shit, is doing such a great job on that show of being a fucking off-kilter weirdo. You know what I mean? And so like just even there where I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, I would jump up and kill Negan. But then all these other guys would just fucking go nuts the same way that everybody else would.
Yeah, I think for me, again, it really just boils down to like, well, one, I haven't seen that character progress. I think, what is the actor's name? Jeffrey
Dean Morgan.
Dean Morgan. Obviously, phenomenal actor. Like I've seen him in Watchmen. I loved him in that. And he was on Grey's Anatomy. Wasn't he for like 800 seasons?
He was a big part of Batman vs Superman too.
It was huge part. Actually, seminal part. Seminal.
No movie without him.
Really
with
wouldn't have been with Maggie. Yeah. I just feel like he hasn't. I don't know. For me, there's something about that wearing that new skin for that actor with that character that just didn't vibe with me. And again, I feel what you're feeling. Like I hear what you're saying. Rather, as they pulled up to the season finale, I was like, "Fuck, this is tense." And had it happened then, I think it would have been that weird, sick, fucked up, gratifying payoff. But the fact that they made us wait, and the fact that this episode really, I guess what it boils down to is that there was no highs and lows. It was all just fucking 100% the entire time. That my brain just got tired, and I'm like, I'm just get it over with, right? Like everything in TV, everything in movie, everything in games is about pacing, right? You can't have a fucking shooter that is just, or any game that's just balls to the wall for fucking 20 hours. Eventually you're like, shit, I got to put this fucking thing down and walk away. And I think that's what this episode was. And I think that's what a lot of people are responding to because there's never really been an episode like this of any show that I can think of.
I want a question for you. And I know we've kind of deviated, sorry, Colin, from just being about violence, which I know we might get back to, might not to. What did you take? What is your reflection now on the season finale? Because you and I had done we didn't do reacts.
But we watched it
bitched
together.
on Twitter drunk from Austin when we watched it together.
Yeah.
Of like, I was so mad. I thought it was such a shitty ending.
Yeah.
Where do you, now that you've seen the other half, where do you come down on it?
I mean, I still agree that like they shouldn't have done the cliffhanger. I get it from a marketing perspective, and again, it worked in terms of ratings and all that stuff. But there's so many ways they could have divvied this up or whatever. And I think that when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when you look back at it as a series, people that are watching it for the first time and just binge watching it, it's going to be great.
Yeah, nobody's going to care.
Like when you watch the season finale and going into this and not realizing the distinctions between that, it is going to be that instead of it'd be like an extended episode. That's like 2 hours of like build up of tension and then all this fucking horrible shit. And I think that definitely gives it the context necessary. I think that with this, when you look back, you're not going to be like, that was the best episode of Walking Dead. You know, as an episode, it is 100% the entire time, and that it does get really kind of tiring. What's about the violence and stuff, it's interesting to me that like it's so crazy that we literally saw that frame for frame from the panels of the comic, but he can't say fuck.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like that's the biggest thing.
He got 3 shits in.
Yeah. But a character known who literally overuses the word fuck to a point that it's like he's like a kid.
Desensitized,
yeah, where it's like not even clever. He's literally saying fuck, fuckity fuck.
Yeah.
But I think that adding that to the level of violence kind of makes it feel less sinister and more crazy. It's more of like a Joker-esque thing than just a bad guy. And in the TV show, we're getting a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, we're not getting a guy that's like scary. We're just getting a guy that's fucked up. And I think that I don't know if it's a good or bad decision. I love it. I mean, I'm very intrigued in how they're going to take the series. But the thing is, the TV deviated a long time ago from the comics in the sense that Rick is not the same Rick from the comics. In the show, they are bad guys. Like when you look at last season, like them going out and hunting down the saviors and doing all that shit, like that was a full-on fucking attack.
That was just stupid too.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing I would say if I was in this fucking show, I'd be like, Rick, maybe, just maybe, we should send a couple people out and figure out who the fuck these people are and how many they are. Because every single fucking time with the governor, with anyone, they're just like, let's get in the RV, Carl. And we're going to go kill him, Carl. Because we deserve to live, Carl. And someone will be like, yo, send Daryl, the fucking pack rat, the tunnel rat out there and figure out who the fuck is out there and how many people there are. Because you don't know. It could be 1,000 people this guy could have.
He got weak. That's what Dwight's all about. Could have ended this a long time ago, Daryl. You fucked it up as usual.
Yeah, but I think that the swearing stuff is like so ridiculous.
Sure.
That, like we can literally see Glenn's eyeball pop out of his head.
Yeah.
But Negan
I mean, that's
can't say
America,
fuck.
though, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. We can't
Absolutely.
see tits on TV, but we can see that and not have a problem with
Yeah,
it.
You're saying
it's
you wanted to be
ridiculous.
I would have loved it if he would have been topless when they got domed.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
take his shirt off. I'm going to bash his fucking head.
Jesus.
I want to see his nipples.
I think that the episode does a great job of setting the where the escape is for the entire franchise going forward and like, looking at the rest of the season, and we're going to see all of the story play out. I think that another piece of the criticism is like, all right, really, what's the point of these deaths besides character development for other characters? And that's kind of a cop out, but it's like when it's The Walking Dead, that's what it is. So it's if you're expecting more, like you're watching the wrong show.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when all they are is relationships, right? Like I saw so many comparisons to the Red Wedding, right? But like, yeah, the Red Wedding isn't just to make characters stronger. It changes the layout of the land, right? And what's going to happen, how it's going to go. But like, there's no structure to what's happening in Rick's group in terms of leadership other than Rick or stuff.
I mean, something that, like looking at all this stuff, my gut reaction is you guys are fucking stupid. You know, don't watch if you don't want to watch. But then after thinking about it a bit more, I'm like, fuck. I mean, it was really unnecessarily brutal. But I'm like, but that is the point of it. But then I go back to, I'm like, well, it's perfectly off the source material. But then that makes me question. It's like, well, is the source material necessary to be like that? And it's like, well, then we start getting this whole thing of like, it is though.
But
and
I mean,
that's what the point of this is.
And the point is though that people get to create the story they want to create, and that's what they want to tell. So let them tell it. You know what I mean? Like, and like that, I would have gone the opposite, where I thought it's the same thing of like with cursing in the show when they get locked in the thing at the end of the one and he turns on, they don't know who they're screwing with. I'm like, all right. Say fucking. At least mute it like they did in Breaking Bad or do something, but say fucking, because we all know that's what you say there. And so here, yeah, like I would have been not pissed off, but I would have rolled my eyes for sure if it was like people getting hit off screen, you don't know what's happening, and like they're getting hit with it, and then you come back and their heads are just still like, not that I need to see like close-ups of it or anything, but like in terms of it being 100 miles an hour the entire way, I loved that because I totally came in when I asked you about what you thought of the season finale. Now I was wrong. I was super mad and thought it was a shitty season finale. I still think I would have been satisfied, mystified, and just as interested if it would have been Meanie or Eeny Meeny Miny Mo or whatever, right? And they swung around and it was Abraham, and then they rolled credits because then I would have been like, are they gonna? Whoa, it's not Glenn. That's fucking crazy. Are they gonna really kill him when we come back or not? Because I expected to come back and have it be a way longer build up to finding out who it was. I expected to come back and have like a flashback and we go through it 45 minutes of bullshit to get to the final 15 to find out who really got hit. So to come in and have it, nope, this is how this happened. Now we're hitting him. Now all this other stuff. Now the Carl thing. And like that was the whole thing. I'm like, they could legitimately do this right now to Carl. Holy fucking shit. They might really do this. They're that crazy. And then they didn't. But it was like, okay. But I was like, wow, what a fucking episode. Because it did play on my years of investment in this show.
Yeah, my thing about the comics though is that you kind of explained it earlier. You said this is just 4 panels of the comics or 4 pages of the comics, right? So like how long are you experiencing that as a build up and then to that payoff versus the episode? And I think that's my big problem with this is that it wasn't just 4 pages, right? Which I can read in approximately a minute if I go slow, right? And then you have that final image of the eyeball hanging out or whatever it is, and you're like, shit, that's really shocking. And then boom, the book's closed. It was that image for an hour, and it's just too much. It was just, for me, I don't know. It felt a little like they were taking advantage of the viewer in some regard. So I can understand why people might be like, come on, guys, that's a little too fucking much.
That's kind of my thing with it, is that it's when you look at it, it's like, man, it really is taking advantage of the viewer's emotions and stuff, which is the point of the show, and that's like the point of this episode. Exactly.
It's the point of every show.
But for me, the image of them all at the end having the dinner and like him with the baby and stuff, it's like, that's really almost insulting at the end of the day. And I think that combined with after everything's said and done, Rick getting the flashes of everyone getting hit.
Yeah, that was
it's like,
that was poorly
edited. At that point, it's poorly edited, and you can tell they just did it because they had the footage. So they're like, we got to put this shit in here. So it's like, and they shot
we need to
all
know what
that.
he's going through emotionally. The fact that he's been fucking crying for an hour straight doesn't really get that across.
Yeah, so it did reach a point where it's like it's gratuitous without an end to it. But I do think that a lot of it, you need to look at it contextually from the whole show. And that I do think that when you look back, it's going to fit and make a lot of sense and be worth it.
And I don't, I go the opposite, where they showed the guy, everybody getting hit in the head, right? Because it was like, I know it's literally beating you over the head with it, but I did like that of when you hear Negan saying, think about what would happen if you go against me, right? It does set up why the guy who has been fucking super cop for 6 seasons of like, whatever, I'm one-man army, unless Daryl's there, then we're 2-man army doing all this crazy shit, right? Who's never been afraid of anyone, right? Like, this is why he's afraid of this guy, because he knows he's leading, and he's seen now how fucking crazy this guy, and he knows that if he goes the rest of this way.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it left a weird taste in my mouth. The tension, like, when I think of moments like that play with that emotion, like that tenseness, I think of moments like the final scene of like Silence of the Lambs, right, where she's in all dark and he's got the fucking
the night vision,
and he's like touching her hair and things like that. This just didn't hit on that. This hit more on moments where to me it honestly felt like I was watching like Hostel, where I'm like, this is not really intense so much as it is a little bit getting into the torture porn area.
See, now what's interesting about that comparison is the fact that I don't watch those movies. I don't like those kind of movies.
Right.
I always talk about how I don't like just seeing bad things happen to good people, right? And granted, that's what The Walking Dead is, but again, for me, it's been that I've been with them for so long. It's not like I'm going in to see Hostel with 5 years of backstory about every one of these characters. Instead, it's just like, we're on our college vacation, blah, blah, oh God, we're trapped by the natives, and now we're getting eaten.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, to your point, kind of crazy, the difference between the violence, sure, we'll print it, put it on TV, but the cursing, the titties, no, that's got to be on HBO.
Did you guys see the cut of the cliffhanger from last season with the Fox?
No.
They did an alternate take where he...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah?
So awesome.
Is it scary or does it come off cartoony now?
It comes off like the comic. Like it totally changes the Negan character.
Interesting. All right.